Hello everyone and welcome to the lecture on AWS Fault Injection Service, AWS FIS. So this lecture will contain all these topics. What is AWS Fault Injection Service? Key concepts of AWS FIS, supported AWS services, planning your AWS FIS experiments, and recommended guidelines for planning your AWS FIS experiments. So what is AWS Fault Injection Service? AWS Fault Injection Service is a fully managed service for running fault injection experiments on AWS workloads. It uses chaos engineering to stress test applications by creating disruptive events and observing the application's response. This information helps improve application performance and resiliency, ensuring they behave as expected. AWS FIS helps set up experiments that mimic real-world conditions to find hidden application issues. The service offers templates to create disruptions and provides controls and guardrails for running experiments in production. It can automatically roll back or stop the experiment if needed. So key concepts of AWS FIS. First, experiments. So you run experiments on your AWS resources to test how an application or system performs under fault conditions. An experiment template is like a blueprint. It describes the actions, targets, and stop conditions for the experiment. Running experiments. After you create a template, you can use it to run an experiment. While the experiment is running, you can check its progress. The experiment finishes when all actions are complete. An action is something AWS FIS does to an AWS resource. AWS FIS has actions already set up. Each action runs for a set time or until you stop it. Actions can happen one after another or at the same time. Targets. A target is the AWS resource that the action affects. You can pick specific resources or a group of resources based on things like tags or their state. Stop conditions. Stop conditions are safety measures. They stop the experiment if it hits a certain limit, defined by a CloudWatch alarm. This ensures experiments are run safely. So this is how it looks like. So let's say you have two templates, template A and template B. And for the first template, you are targeting 3 EC2 instance by their instance ID. Then you have two actions and you perform some action on these two. Is one action and this is action 2 for EC2 instance, this one third instance ID, and then this action will continue, but you will have a stop conditions. This will monitor for example, this alarm action 1 and action 2. So this will monitor for this action 1 alarm and this will monitor for action 2, and if it reaches this particular alarm, then this CloudWatch can go ahead and stop. Here you have EC2 instances and now you have tags, so you don't have to give instance ID, and you have, let's say you have set up 3 actions, and based on the tags you perform action 1, action 2, action 3, and then you have set up the same one alarm for action 1 and action 2 but a different alarm for action 3, and similar you can have a stop condition if that alarm reaches certain state. So supported AWS services. So services which can be part of fault injection are CloudWatch, DynamoDB, Amazon Elastic Block Store, EC2, Elastic Container Service, Elastic Kubernetes Service, Elastic Cache, Amazon RDS, Amazon S3, AWS Systems Manager, and Amazon Virtual Private Cloud VPC. So how to plan your AWS FIS experiments? First, what is fault injection? So fault injection means stressing your application on purpose, either in testing or live production, by creating disruptive events. Think of things like shutting down servers or slowing down API calls. We call as API throttling. Then you observe and improve. The goal is to watch how your system handles these stressful events. Based on what you see, you can then make changes to improve how it works. Then you find weakness safely. So when you run these kinds of experiments on your system in a planned way, It helps you find hidden weaknesses before they cause problems for your real users. Proactive fixes. Finding these weaknesses early means you can fix them before they affect the customers who rely on your system. By fixing issues proactively, you can help stop unexpected failures or strange behavior down the road. So, recommended guidelines for planning your AWS FIS experiments are: first, you review your system's past outages and events to understand its health and resilience, addressing known issues before starting experiments. You identify the services that would have the biggest negative impact on users or customers if they failed. You choose the specific system for running experiments, and then you start with the pre-production or test environment if you are new to fault injection. You consult your team about their worries to perform hypotheses and what they are not worried about to uncover potential fallacies like sunk cost or confirmation bias. Then you analyze your application architecture to identify all components, dependencies, and recovery steps. You can refer to the AWS well-architected framework for guidance on building resilient and efficient cloud infrastructure. You identify relevant metrics using Amazon CloudWatch to establish a baseline performance called as a steady state and monitor the effects of experiments. Then you can define acceptable performance limits for your system and set up CloudWatch alarms based on these limits to automatically stop an experiment if it goes too far. That are also known as stop conditions. And that's all. Thanks for watching.